And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dolce, and I would like to welcome you to the very first episode of Battletips, a video series in which I will give you guys all kinds of tips and tricks to hopefully improve your gameplay and learn something new about Battlefield 4. Now, the video length will depend on the subject or strategy that I will cover. For example, if I find a really good defending spot or a flanking technique, anything like that, the video will be on the shorter side because I want to keep these videos as informative as possible. So, yeah, I'll try not to ramble too much. Now let's get on with the video and give away some tips. Now, as you saw in the title, we're going to be taking a look at the engineers class in this episode. And I chose this class because it seems to be the most dominating class and the most popular one in the beta, and it's probably the most lethal one as well. But I'll get into that later on in another video. First, let's take a look at the weapons and the gadgets you have right off the bat in the beta. Now, the first available weapon in the engineers class is the MX4. That's your primary. It's a PDW that does pack quite a punch. Now, I'll put the damage stats on the screen right now. Boom. So now you have an idea what kind of firepower this baby has, and the damage it puts out is really nothing like we've ever seen before. They're definitely more powerful and a lot more accurate as well than the PDWs that we're used to in Battlefield 3. But what makes this baby really unique is the fire rate and the very stable recoil. It's very manageable, it's very stable. The fire rate on this baby is, why do I keep calling it a baby? On this gun, let's call it a gun, because it's definitely way more lethal than a baby. So the fire rate on this weapon is 830 rounds per minute, and it holds a magazine of 30 rounds. So this I'm just gonna keep calling it a baby. So this baby spits out a lot of lead very fast, and that's perfect for close quarter situations, especially if you have laser sight equipped on it. Now just be careful when you're picking your targets, because if you engage enemies that are just so way too far away from you, just to get that extra kill, you'll miss most of your shots and you will find yourself out of ammo very quickly. So pick your targets carefully. And by the way, support players aren't very generous with their ammo this time of year. So you've been warned. And again, I'm not going to be discussing the recoil patterns at all that shiz right now. I'll discuss that and analyze the weapon in a separate video. I'm going to make a separate weapon review of this gun. Now, along with your primary, you have your secondary handgun, obviously, and you start off with the P226, or for people who can read numbers, the P226. And you also have the choice to equip an RPG or a Stinger, and you also have your trusty repair tool, of course. Now, the RPG also has a possibility to lock onto vehicles, so if a recon designates a target, you will be able to lock on the target and fire off a rocket with your RPG. Now, to deal the most damage possible when you're locked onto a target, try to shoot the rocket, especially on tanks, try to shoot the rocket above you after you're locked on, so that the rocket hits the top of the tank. So to put that into perspective, if a rocket is shot at the front of a tank, it deals about 25 damage. Now, if the rocket hits the top of the tank, it will deal 75 damage. So if I were you, I'd start shooting curved rockets. It's crucial to take out tanks fast as an engineer. And then, of course, we have the field upgrades, and if you're not familiar with them, they're kind of like the perks in Battlefield 3, and by kind of, I mean exactly like the perks in Battlefield 3. So you start off with the defensive field upgrade, and you're able to unlock the offensive one as well in the beta. Now, the defensive one gives you better armor, it makes you less vulnerable to suppression, you take less explosive damage, and your health regens quicker. Now, the offensive battle pack gives you the ability to sprint longer, it gives you more ammo and grenades, and your fall damage is greatly reduced. Now, at the moment, these two are the only field upgrades available in the beta, but there will be a lot more in the retail version of the game, and some of them will be class-specific. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to best play the engineer class in Battlefield 4. Now, as an engineer, your primary focus are vehicles. Vehicles, especially tanks. Now, you're either repairing them or you're destroying them. That's the only thing you should be doing to them. And tanks are very dangerous on Shanghai Siege or Siege of Shanghai. I always forget how that map is called. I know it's got Siege in it, and I know it's got Shanghai in it, so I got that right. and they can give you a huge advantage when you're trying to push through. So if your team is pushing up to an objective with one or more tanks and you see them taking damage or they're getting into trouble, be ready to pull out that repair torch and help out your teammate. Having a tank on your side during a flag camp makes a really big difference, so make sure that your tank gets all the support that he needs to push through enemy defenses. Now the same thing goes for the enemy tanks. If you're in the middle of a battle or you're working your way up to a flag and you spot an enemy tank, that tank just made the top of your kill list. Just find the right angle or spot to engage him and make sure to get hits on that tank. And always try to engage him from some kind of cover, from some solid cover, because once that first rocket connects, he'll know where you are. He'll know you're there, and he will either try to get away from you or he will do everything to take you out. You don't want to be shooting rockets out in the open if you know that your first rocket isn't gonna destroy him. So be careful. Don't just go into the streets and shooting rockets at people, because you're gonna get killed real fast. And also remember the tips that I gave you earlier. Always try to get hits on the top or the rear of the tank. Those shots will deal the most damage. Now, how to approach infantry as an engineer. Well, like I said, you shouldn't be going for those long-range shots with your PDWs. Now, however, you do have the possibility to equip carbines, shotguns, DMRs, and these 3 weapon groups are also available for every other class in the game. They're kind of like the PDWs from Battlefield 3, sort of like the universal weapons. You have so much possibilities now too, so the way to approach infantry will depend on the weapon that you're using. And I'll do a series of weapon reviews as well, like I've said like 2 or 3 times already in this video. So be sure to check that out in the future so you know what weapon suits your playstyle the best. So that's all I have to say about the Engineers class right now. By the way, I am aware that the gameplay isn't all that exciting, but I wanted to post this gameplay because it really shows the Battlefield 4 experience, and it kind of gives you an idea of the pace at which the game plays. So if you look at it that way, the gameplay isn't all that boring. Or maybe it is. I don't know. You be the judge. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked it and I hope you got something out of it. And if you did, do not forget to like the video and possibly share, because it helps out the channel so much, guys. And I really appreciate it if you did do that. Now, stick around for more videos like this in the future. Like I said, I'll be doing weapon reviews. I'll be doing in-depth map analysis, all that good stuff. I'm gonna be giving out tips to flag caps and defend and attack and everything. Everything's gonna be on this channel. So be sure to stick around and subscribe, people. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I am Dolce, and I'll see you in the next video.